What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. I am your host, TB, aka Tim Beardsley. Thank you so much for stopping in. If you are brand new to the program, I encourage you to go back to some previous episodes and check them out. If you have been with me since the start, thank you so much for returning and for sticking with me. We have so much to talk about in the world of the Buffalo Bills and sports cards, but unfortunately, I have to start out with a negative, and that is taking place in the world of professional wrestling. If you have watched Monday Night Raw and had your eyes on the TV when Gunther, the champion, was in the ring, you will know that my nightmare scenario is in fact coming true. You heard the music and you saw none other than 58-year-old Bill Goldberg come down to the stage and challenge the champion to a match at Saturday night's main event. And I'm watching the program, and I hinted on this in the last show. I was worried about it. There were rumors, there were rumblings. This is why Jey Uso lost, because it had to set up this match between Gunther and Goldberg, because you couldn't have Goldberg fight Jey Uso because no one would root for Goldberg. But I'm looking at this scenario, I'm watching my TV, and I'm shaking my head in pure disgust. And I am just asking the question, why? Why WWE? Why Triple H? Why powers that be are you doing this? I just don't get it. I don't get it. It makes no sense. I said last week that no one wants to see this match, and it's absolutely true. No one wants to see this match. Now, in order to prepare for this show, I went back and I had to do my research because I like to try to know what the heck I'm talking about. I'll be honest with you folks, this process was painful. I went back all the way to 2016. If you remember, Goldberg had been out of the WWE for about 12 years, and he made his heroic return to the WWE in 2016. And so I picked up from there. I went back all the way to 2016, which is 9 years ago, and I watched every single Goldberg match from 2016 until present day. It sucked. It was a terrible process. This was awful. I don't wish this on my worst enemy, but someone had to do it for research purposes. And so I went back and took notes on each and every match. And I thought it would be a fun, painful exercise to share with you folks the last 9 years of Bill Goldberg and try to figure out why the hell WWE would think this is a good idea. So here we go. We're going to jump in the DeLorean. We're going to go all the way back to November 2016, his amazing return at Survivor Series. Now, this was the main event against none other than Brock Lesnar. If you remember this time in wrestling, Brock Lesnar was an absolute beast. A beast. He had beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30 2 years earlier. He was booked as being absolutely unstoppable. Unstoppable. No one could touch him. When he beat Taker to beat the streak, people thought they were crazy. They thought WWE had lost their minds. But I remember that match. I remember him beating Taker and just watching in total disbelief. You see a lot of the memes and the pictures of that match and the different people losing their collective minds because the Taker's streak had been broken. But needless to say, they were setting up Brock as an unstoppable force, a wrecking crew, a one-man wrecking crew in the WWE. So, needless to say, here we are trying to set the stage for November 2016 Survivor Series. This is the main event. Bill Goldberg, Brock Lesnar. Now, before the match even starts, there is a super long promo package in which Bill, I'm going to call him Bill, in which Bill talks about him having one more match left in him, one more spear in him, one more jackhammer in him, etc., etc. He's talking about one more match all the way back in 2016. You get where I'm going with this. This is a long, overdrawn, 9-year bunch of crap. So they play this super long promo package. They come to the ring. They get introduced. The match starts. Bill Goldberg pushes Brock down, just a simple push, right? Brock's on the mat, looking up. As he gets up, he turns his back around. Bill spears him once, spears him twice, hits the jackhammer. 1, 2, 3, match is over. That's the match. That is the main event of Survivor Series in 2016. This match time, according to all the documents was 1 minute, 26 seconds. 1 minute, 26 seconds to destroy what you had built in Brock Lesnar as this unstoppable monster, beating the streak, beating all this stuff. He had not lost. I believe he had not lost to this point, Brock Lesnar, in over 3 years. And here comes Goldberg, 12 years later, fresh out of doing nothing, fresh off the couch, and destroys Brock Lesnar in 1 minute, 26 seconds. Lesnar got in 0 offensive moves. Zero. And to make matters worse, then after the match, and I remember, here's the great thing about going and rewatching these matches. Nostalgia in WWE and wrestling is real. It's real. And you have these images in your head of what these matches were. And then you go back and watch them, and the emotions and the frustrations immediately come back. It's kind of crazy. So if you have this vision in your head of what a match was, I encourage you, go back and check it out. It's awesome. I love getting on. I think everything's on Peacock now. It used to be on the WWE network and various platforms, but it's awesome. Go back, check out the matches you think are great. Sometimes they still are. Sometimes they're a disaster. But so I remember this match. And at the time when this match was getting hyped, Bill kept talking about his son, and he wanted his son to see him wrestle. So this debacle of a match, 1 minute, 26 seconds, is over. And Bill then brings his shirtless son in the ring. The kid is not wearing a shirt. And I'm not going to say too much more about that, but it is weird. It's just weird. He drags his kid in the stage, parades him around, and it's just a very strange post-match celebration between Goldberg and his shirtless kid, who's probably, 10, 11 years old at the time. It's just very strange. But anyway, let's get back in the DeLorean. Let's fast forward to January 2017. His next match on this fiasco of a 9-year stretch is none other than the Royal Rumble. Not too much to say about this, but he is the 28th entrant in the Royal Rumble. He comes in, he immediately squares up against none other than Brock Lesnar, and he throws Brock Lesnar out. And I'm just watching this going, of course he did, because why don't we just continue to kick Lesnar and make him look weaker and weaker? It's just stupid. And then none other than The Undertaker comes in, because that really makes a lot of sense. Goldberg is squashing Lesnar the last few times out. And now here comes The Undertaker, who Lesnar beat and throws Bill Goldberg out. So Goldberg comes in, throws a couple people out, and then he's tossed out of the ring by Undertaker. So that's that. Then we fast forward 2 months to March of the same year, March of 2017. The pay-per-view is Fastlane. Now, if you remember this is awful. Just awful. Fastlane, the main event, is Bill Goldberg versus KO, Kevin Owens, who is the Universal Champion at the time. Now, if you remember this match, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's terrible. They come down, the match starts, the bell rings, KO instantly rolls out of the ring. He walks around the ring. He's stalling for time. Clear heel tactic, right? Rolls back in the ring. They're about to lock up. He rolls out. I mean, he does this probably 3 or 4 times, and he's just walking around the ring for 5 to 6 minutes. Finally, he gets in the ring. The match looks like it's about to start, and Chris Jericho appears at the top of the ramp, distracts Kevin Owens. Bill hits him with a spear, the jackhammer. 1, 2, 3 winner, new Universal Champion. The actual wrestling in this match is about 10 seconds. There's a whole lot of shenanigans, a whole lot of nothing. Again, main event, Kevin Owens, 1, 2, 3, new Universal Champion, Bill Goldberg. It's pathetic. I understand what they were doing with Kevin Owens getting his comeuppance by Chris Jericho, because they had a storyline there, which was great. And then throw Bill Goldberg in the mix, and he takes the belt off the champion. It made KO look absolutely terrible. So then we go 1 month later, April 2017, WrestleMania 33. Guess who he's fighting again? None other than Brock Lesnar. We have an absolute awesome promo package before the match. This promo package is narrated by none other than Paul Heyman. Now, Paul Heyman's great. He is great. He's one of the all-time greats, all-time great managers, just iconic in the world of professional wrestling. Awesome promo package. So here come the two guys. Match starts. Brock takes him to what was referred to then as Suplex City. He hits Bill with 3 suplexes in a row. 3. And what does Bill do? And this is the thing that really ticks me off. Bill completely no-sells it. He gets up, hits him with 2 spears, hits Lesnar with 2 spears, goes for the pin. Lesnar rolls out of the ring. to save his ass, essentially. Bill follows him outside the ring, hits him with another spear through a barricade, gets him back in the ring, hits him with a fourth spear. Then he hits Lesnar with his jackhammer, because at this point, his matches are 2 moves. It's a spear and a jackhammer, and that's it. I get it. That's what it used to be back in the WCW days when the matches were literally 30 to 60 seconds. But now Goldberg is late 40s, approaching 50 years old, and these matches, they just, you can't be doing these matches at this point anymore because they suck. So 4th spear in the ring, jackhammer, and lo and behold, Lesnar actually kicks out. At this point, Bill goes for a 5th spear. Lesnar jumps over him, and Goldberg runs into the turnbuckle. Lesnar kind of gets the upper hand because Goldberg is kind of woozy. And then Lesnar hits him with 7 straight German suplexes. 7. Then he hits him with an F5. Match over. Lesnar wins. Thank God. So Bill gets 4 spears and a jackhammer. Goes for a 5th, misses, 7 Germans, F5, match over. I mean, that's it. I guess this was their way of Lesnar getting some sort of dignity back, but who knows? So now Goldberg goes away for a while, and we don't see him for over 2 years. The next time we see him is June 2019, Super Showdown versus The Undertaker. Now, this match takes place in Saudi Arabia, and folks, I don't know how to say this. This match is an absolute train wreck. If you look up the definition of train wreck in your dictionary, you will see a picture of Taker and Goldberg side by side. Terrible. This is one of the worst matches you will ever see. Now, the best part of the entire show, let's look at the entire show. This Super Showdown show over there, and there was a lot of negativity that the WWE was taking what a lot of people called blood money and going over to Saudi and putting on these huge shows, and they were getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to put these shows on it over there. But needless to say, the best part of this entire show is the song for the promo package leading to this match. If you haven't heard When Legends Rise by Godsmack, that song is fire. Best part of the match by far. As soon as that promo is over, you should turn the TV off because this match is terrible. Bill comes out first, and he has this entrance where, if you know Bill Goldberg, the camera is backstage with him, and it's a close-up of his locker room, dressing room door. This is classic. You see this hundreds and hundreds of times over the years. There's a knock on the door. The door opens. Bill Goldberg comes out. He gets escorted by all these security guys, and there's all this nonsense. It takes forever. So you can imagine that when Undertaker and Goldberg each have an entrance, you're looking at 10 to 15 minutes before they even get to the freaking ring. But the door opens on Bill's locker room, and he comes out, and he has a cut on his forehead. It's a visible cut. You see it immediately, and he's bleeding from the forehead. He looks terrible. Right away, as soon as he comes out of the locker room, he looks terrible. He looks like he already wrestled a match. Now, if you try to dive into this a little and you look into this, there's some rumors out there that he may or may not have given himself a concussion on his stupid pre-match ritual in which he slams his head on the door to his locker room before he comes out. If you watch the video, he looks woozy as hell. He looks off. He just looks off. He looks out of it as he's walking. It's just a very strange thing. You should all go back and watch it just because this match is so bad. So he's walking out, and we're already off to a terrible, terrible start. So the match starts. Taker throws one punch. A single punch. That's it. He throws one punch, and then Bill Goldberg hits him with 2 spears. 2 spears right off Jump Street. Taker does his rise from the dead thing, in which he sits up. He then gets up, goes for a choke slam. They kind of roll around on the ground, and then Bill puts him in the weirdest lock I've ever seen. Bill puts him in what the announcers are calling a knee bar. I don't know if you all watch a lot of professional wrestling, but you don't see announcers call a lock a knee bar very often. He's basically grabbing his foot and just kind of laying there and doing nothing. It looks strange as hell. I don't know how else to describe it. Then they change the name of the move, and they call it a heel hook. It's literally nothing. He's literally doing nothing. At one point, Renee Young is on the announce table, and she says, "Goldberg looks like $1 million tonight." And I'm like, what the hell are you all talking about? Bill Goldberg looks like he's on Mars right now. He looks like he's on another freaking planet. He doesn't know what he's doing. It looks terrible. Anyway, Goldberg They finally get off the mat from this stupid heel hook, knee bar, whatever the heck that is. Taker's in the corner. Bill runs at him, almost like to hit him with a spear. Taker moves out of the way, and Bill hits the ring post. And this is where things go from bad to holy crap, this is really bad. His face gets busted up because his head hit the post, and he is bleeding profusely from his head. I mean, his whole head is covered with blood. He basically then collapses in the corner. Collapses. It looks terrible. So Taker, probably because he knew something was up, he kind of slows the match way down. And Taker, by the way, side note, he is looking old as hell. He is as slow as I've ever seen him at this point in his career. He goes for the tombstone pile driver. And folks, I got to say, I am surprised Bill Goldberg is still walking after this pile driver. It is awful. Awful. Taker picks him up, goes to put him in the tombstone pile driver. He kind of hesitates. There's like this little hitch in the middle of the move. It kind of throws off their weight a little bit. And then he proceeds to drop Goldberg right straight on his head. Right straight on his head. I'm surprised he was even moving after that. Goldberg somehow manages to kick out. He gets up off the mat, and his legs are wobbly as hell. He's twitching. His legs look terrible. Now, you can tell if you watch enough wrestling what the sell job is and when someone is like legitimately, oh gosh, this isn't good. And it's clear in this match, Goldberg at this point has no clue where he is. He keeps shaking his head like he's trying to clear cobwebs off. If you watch football, you see players do this all the time. He keeps shaking his head, trying to see straight. At one point, both of them are running the ropes, and they just, you could tell, like old school, the double clothesline move, they don't accomplish it. They just collide in the middle of the ring, Taker and Goldberg. They kind of fall down. If you watch this point where Goldberg runs the ropes, if you watch his feet very closely, it's like his feet don't know what they're doing. It's very scary. It's very sad. And then at this point, when they're down in the middle of the ring, to add even more irony, the Saudi crowd starts cheering, "This is awesome." And I'm like, y'all have lost your mind. This is the worst match I've ever seen. And they're chanting, "This is awesome." So somehow Bill manages to get up, hits a spear, and then he calls for the jackhammer. Now, I remembered back to when I watched this live, and I knew that this was going to be awful, and it was just as bad as it was the first time watching it back. He picks Taker up, he gets him up about 3/4 of the way, and then he straight drops him on his head. Drops him on his head. He can't hit the jackhammer. He can't get Taker up. It looks terrible. He drops him on his head. Bill then decides, he does this hand motion where he calls for something, not sure what the hell he's doing. He picks Taker up again, and this time he goes for Taker's move, the tombstone pile driver. He tries to pick him up. The two of them just fall over in the middle of the ring. Taker gets up, picks him up, hits him with the worst chokeslam you will ever see, and thank the heavens, he pins him for a very merciful 3 count. Folks, I am not overselling it. This is the worst match you will ever see. After the match, Taker clearly looks pissed as hell. I mean, he is pissed. He's talking to himself. He's muttering. He's looking around the ring. It is a complete and total train wreck. Complete, total train wreck. And this is June of 2019. So then, apparently to redeem himself, we're going to fast forward 2 months to August of 2019. This is the SummerSlam match versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, if you know Dolph Ziggler, I love Dolph Ziggler back in the day. I think he's a great worker. I think he's great to have on the roster. And he is probably one of the best sellers in wrestling since Shawn Michaels. But the setup to this match is so freaking convoluted. I'm watching back through and preparing for this show, and it's so messed up. Originally, Shawn Michaels were supposed to fight Dolph Ziggler, and then somehow The Miz gets involved, and there's a contract signing, and The Miz says to Dolph, "Oh, you didn't read the contract. You're not fighting me." And then Michael says, "Oh, you're not fighting me." And then Goldberg's music hits and Bill Goldberg comes out and signs the contract. It is so stupid and convoluted. Anyway, fast forward. Here we go. SummerSlam match, Dolph Ziggler versus Bill Goldberg. Match starts. Ziggler, surprising the hell out of everyone, gets in an awesome super kick. I mean, this kick is a thing of beauty. And in pure Goldberg fashion, he essentially no-sells this move, and Dolph barely gets a 1 count. Barely. I mean, the hand hits the mat one time, and Goldberg's up. It's awful. Ziggler gets a second kick in, and then we have another no sell and another kick out immediately. Goldberg gets up, hits the spear. Ziggler sells the hell out of it. This is pure Milano smashing Mike White. That's how awesome this sell job is. Ziggler sells the hell out of it. Goldberg jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, match is over. That's it. That's the match. 2 super kicks, which he no-sold. Spear, jackhammer, done. So Bill Lee is leaving. Ziggler somehow manages to get a hold of the microphone, and this is the best part of the match. As Bill is leaving the arena or the ramp, Dolph starts talking smack, and it's glorious. He says getting hit by Goldberg is like getting hit by a baby, and he's just talking straight trash. Bill comes back, hits him with another spear. Bill leaves again. Dolph gets the mic a second time, keeps talking more trash. Bill comes back again, and shocking, what have we never seen before? A Bill Goldberg spear. So he hits Ziggler with 2 post-match spears, and which Ziggler sells amazingly, by the way. And that was the fiasco. That was the Ziggler match in SummerSlam. Now we're going to fast forward to February of 2020, and this is where I really start to get upset. This is Super Showdown, again, in Saudi. You're going to see a theme here. Apparently, the Saudis love Bill Goldberg, and they must have paid a ton of money to have him over there because they go absolute bonkers when he comes out. They must love him because he's on like all of these Saudi shows. So Super Showdown versus The Fiend. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Now, I know a lot of you out there, when The Fiend was champion, you're going to say, well, he wasn't that good, and I don't care. I don't care what you say. I love Bray Wyatt. I love every version of Bray Wyatt. He's my dude. Sucks that he's gone. I love that guy. So this is the main event of Super Showdown. The Fiend is the Universal Champion, and now he's fighting none other than Bill Goldberg. So they get in the ring. The Fiend is in the corner, and he's slowly taking off his jacket. And before he can even get his jacket off, and this really makes Goldberg look like a good guy, before he can even get his jacket off, Bill Goldberg hits him with a spear. It's ridiculous. And then somehow the Fiend managed to get the mandible claw on Goldberg. That was one of his moves, the mandible claw, in which he essentially takes his hand and grabs his chin/lower lip area. It's like a submission hold. Bill breaks it, hits Bray with 3 spears. 3. Now, thank God, Bray manages to kick out. This is the only redeeming part of the match, the fact that Wyatt was able to kick out after 3 spears. He locks the mandible claw in again. And think about it. I'm watching this match back. So the Fiend, who's your champion, gets in 2 moves. 2. And it's the mandible claw each time. Think about it. Why is this the only move that Bray's allowed to do to Goldberg? I'm thinking about that as I'm watching this back going, that's how trashy he is as a wrestler at this point in his career, that the only offense your Universal Champion can get in on Bill Goldberg is a submission hold in which he grabs your face. That's it. So, of course, Goldberg breaks out of the claw, hits him with an absolute trash jackhammer. Terrible looking jackhammer. And of course, 1, 2, 3, new champion Bill Goldberg. He gave the Fiend their first loss, and this pissed me off so much. Absolute freaking garbage. February 2020 Super Showdown. Terrible. So Goldberg, new Universal Champion. And of course, if you know history, this is right when COVID's about to hit. So you fast forward to 2 months, April 2020, to WrestleMania 36. This is COVID time. They're doing it in a completely empty arena. This match was tough. It was originally supposed to be Roman Reigns, but because of Roman's health issues and cancer history, Roman was not going to be in this. And so who's his replacement? The monster among men, Braun Strowman, for the Universal Championship in an empty arena. This match is frustrating too. Match starts. Goldberg hits Braun with 4 spears. 4. Nothing else happens. Braun then power slams Goldberg 4 straight times. 4 straight spears, followed by 4 straight power slams. 1, 2, 3, new champion, match over. I'm watching, I'm like, what the heck is going on? 2 moves in a Universal Championship match. This is the first time Braun has been Universal Champ, and all I can say is, ugh, this was terrible. Terrible. So then we got to fast forward all the way to January of 2021. Royal Rumble, Bill Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. They were still in the Thunderdome. So if you remember the Thunderdome, the walls of the Thunderdome were filled with screens of people watching from their computers, Zoom, whatever, Way better than an empty arena, but still weird as hell. So Royal Rumble versus Drew McIntyre, who was WWE champion, and he was doing a pretty good job. Before the bell even starts, they start fighting. There's a spear on the outside through the barricade. They get back in the ring. Drew hits him with a claymore. Of course, Bill kicks out. Goldberg hits him with 2 spears. Jackhammer. Drew kicks out. Goldberg goes for another spear. He misses. Drew hits him with another claymore, and Drew wins. So, claymore, spear, jackhammer, claymore. That's it. That's a match. After the match, Bill gives Drew his props. They embrace. There's a nice hug. Yada, yada. You would never see Drew do that now. Goldberg actually says congrats and raises his hand and is freaking stupid. The reason I like this match is because this is the first time Goldberg is actually wearing shorts. It's weird. I'm like, what the heck is he doing? He's wearing actual shorts and not his booty shorts that he's rocked for like 30 years, which look stupid at this point. But that match, I don't know. It was okay because there was a little stuff going on the outside, but all in all, not that great. So then we fast forward all the way to August, same year, 2021, August, SummerSlam versus champion Bobby Lashley. Now this match, not too bad in the scope of these terrible Goldberg matches. This match is about 7 minutes, 10 seconds. It actually ends with a ref stoppage. A ref stoppage because in the match, Goldberg develops some sort of knee issue. I'm not sure if it was real or what the case may be. Probably not. But the ref stops the match. After the match, there's some post-match beatdown shenanigans. Lashley's hitting him with a chair over and over again on the leg. And then, flashback to his shirtless son, way back at the beginning of this fiasco project I started. Here comes his son, now older, jumps on Lashley from behind, tries to put him in, I don't know what he's doing. He's got like a sleeper hold on him or whatever the case may be. But then Bobby throws, his name was Gage, by the way. Bobby throws Gage off of him and then proceeds to put this kid in the hurt lock, which is his submission move. And the crowd goes nuts. They go nuts to see champion Bobby Lashley put Goldberg's son Gage in a hurt lock. It was awesome. But of course, Goldberg doesn't take too kindly to that, and we know where this program is going. Fast forward to October. So a few months later, 2 months later, Crown Jewel. Hey, guess where we are? Back in Saudi. Crown Jewel versus Bobby Lashley. Now, Bobby doesn't have the belt any longer because he lost it to Big E, who had the briefcase at the time from Money in the Bank. Big E cashed in on Lashley. Lashley lost the belt. So now here we go. Crown Jewel, Goldberg versus Lashley, Falls Count Anywhere match. This, if I'm being honest, this match is the best of these crap matches on this list. This is the best of the bunch. It's 11 minutes. They go kind of do some stuff all around the place. And Lashley is selling his ass off. He works really hard to make Goldberg look good. He takes a spear through the table in the corner. They go outside. They're fighting outside. He takes a spear through a barricade. Finally, they work their way up the ramp. And around the top of the ramp, hey, guess what? Bill Goldberg hits another spear. They kind of jump off the ramp, and they both go through these tables that have been prearranged. Shocking. 1, 2, 3 win. Bill wins. No belt, though, but he gets his win back. Then we fast forward to February. So about 4 months later, to the final match on this list, February 2022, Elimination Chamber. Guess where we are? I'll give you one guess. Oh, back in Saudi? Did anyone pick that? Oh, well, you got it right. Here we are back in Saudi again. I want to know how much money these Saudi princes are handing Triple H and company to have Bill Goldberg show up time after time after time. But anyway, here we are. We have Bill Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. As I'm watching back through these pre-match promo packages, I'm starting to notice that they're repeating the same Goldberg clips over and over and over again. It's like cut and paste, splicing up the same content, throwing it into a new package for almost every one of these matches. It's the same crap. What I did find from this clip that I really liked, at one point the camera zooms in on Roman and he says, "Goldberg, nobody cares because I'm here now." And that's exactly my thought when I see Goldberg on my television. Goldberg, nobody cares. And the promo goes on to say, maybe, and they're talking about Goldberg at this point, maybe this is one comeback too many. And this is February of 2022. Maybe we're just starting to question this now. And it's been 6 years since he came back in 2016. 6 years, and we're finally starting to think maybe this is one comeback too many. Holy crap, we should have started this conversation 6 years ago. So anyway, the match starts. They brawl around a little bit. Guess who hits the spear on Roman Reigns? Oh, Goldberg. 2 spears, goes for the jackhammer. Thank God Roman manages to reverse it, puts him into this guillotine. A couple minutes go by. Bill passes out in the middle of the ring. That's it. Match is over. 6 minutes. Roman retains the Universal Championship. Thank God. Can you imagine if Goldberg had beaten Roman Reigns for the title in Saudi at Elimination Chamber in February of 2022? What a fiasco that would have been. So all in all, folks, 12 matches. He wins 5 of them. He loses 7 of them. And four of these 12 matches are in Saudi Arabia. I would love to know how much money they spent to get Goldberg over there. Because like I said, the crowd goes wild. So fast forward to present day, 3 years, 4 months later, and now here he is showing up on your television on Monday Night Raw. I know that him and his son, Gage, who at this point is just as popular and well known through this train wreck of a comeback as Goldberg is. So him and his son Gage are at a Bad Blood pay-per-view, and there's like some kind of standoff in which Gunther starts talking trash about Goldberg. And anyway, of course, Goldberg's not going to forget. So fast forward to the last episode of Monday Night Raw, and Goldberg is now in the ring with your champion, Gunther, and they are fighting for the title yet again on Saturday night's main event. 58 years old. How do we feel about that? I, for one, am kind of pissed off. What are we doing? No one wants to see it. I tell you what, if Bill Goldberg wins this match, I don't know what to do. But I thought it would be fun to walk down memory lane of the last 9 years. You all let me know. Are you as mad as I am? Because this is just infuriating. You have Jey Uso lose, which is fine, whatever. I wasn't sold on his title reign. But if Gunther loses to Goldberg, I'm hoping this is just a one-off and this is the last match and he is retired and gone off into the sunset. I mean, for crying out loud, WWE, you put him in the Hall of Fame like 10, 11 years ago. Hall of Fame. And now he's back for another decade, and he keeps coming back over and over again. When he came out to the ring on Monday, he looked old as hell. He had a clear limp. And by the time he got to the ring, he was a sweaty mess. He looks old. He looks hunched over. He can't walk right. And I'm just thinking, oh, Lord. The best saving grace to this fact that he's fighting for the title on Saturday night's main event, it is the same day as AEW's #1 pay-per-view of the year, All In Texas. I'm going to be watching All In because I don't want to watch this train wreck that's about to happen. So there you go. I thought it would be fun to take a walk down memory lane. And so for this week's If Money Were No Object by the week, I'm not going to be selfish, folks. No, I'm not going to be selfish. I'm going to do Goldberg a favor. I'm going to pay whatever it costs to move his entire family to the country he loves the most, clearly, Saudi Arabia. I'm going to move his house. I'm going to move his family. He's going to have a great time. It's going to be an awesome setup. I'm going to buy everyone a one-way ticket to there, and then I'm going to pay off the WWE doctors and make sure that this man never gets cleared to wrestle again. That's how I'm going to spend my money because, if money were no object, that's what I got. What do you think? Who's with me on never seeing another Goldberg match again? Some other quick wrestling news. We're not going to take too much time to talk about, but Liv Morgan got hurt right away in her match with Kairi Sane on Raw. Listen, if you're one of these clowns that's coming after Kairi Sane for injuring Liv Morgan, you clearly don't watch wrestling. This was about as basic of a takedown as you can get. And then when Liv hit the mat with her arms out, her shoulder dislocated. So if you're coming after her, blaming her for injuring Liv Morgan, I get it. Liv's awesome. She's great on TV. She's got a ton of momentum right now and doing really cool things. But if you're blaming someone else for Liv's injury, this is just a freak thing. Get over yourself. Let's move on. All right. Take it easy. We don't need to be going after her and sending death threats and all kinds of stupid nonsense. Let's be a little more upstanding when it comes to this kind of thing, guys. Accidents happen, and this was 10 seconds into the match, not even, and there's a leg takedown, and Liv falls forward and dislocates her elbow. Freak accident. Hopefully she can come back and get back in the ring ASAP. So nothing but the best for Liv. That's a terrible thing. We'll see where they go from here. Obviously, the King of the Ring tournament is happening right now, and we'll dive into that later on. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm thinking the way they're going with this in the finals, it's going to be Jey versus Sammy. with all the stuff happening backstage with Sammy, with Karrion Kross trying to get in his head, maybe this is where we see Sammy kind of turn the corner and become a bad guy in order to get another chance at a title. Who knows? Maybe they do something like that. Karrion is really pushing this agenda with Sammy for him to be a selfish type of wrestler, and maybe that's how they do it against his bromance with Jey Uso. So we shall see. So, Bills Mafia, you are on the clock. How are we feeling? Now, minicamp came and went, and shocking, James Cook showed up, had his press conference, answered the questions, basically said, yeah, I like my money, so I wasn't going to miss it because I don't want to get fined. And everyone suddenly is singing Kumbaya. So this Adam Schefter nonsense about how he's distancing himself from the city and the team and blah, blah, blah. It's all a bunch of crap because literally 48 hours, 72 hours later, Cook's in town, he's in camp, and he's practicing, and everyone's just having a grand old time. So is this all a whole lot of nothing? I don't think this is going to be a problem anymore. Now, he might keep talking about the fact that he wants a new deal, but he's not going to miss training camp. You never see a guy show up to minicamp and then miss training camp. If he wasn't going to show up to training camp, he would have passed on minicamp. It's just, you're not going to see it. So I think this story is kind of overblown. Yeah, he was vocal about wanting his money, and we talked about a really cool way to pay for that. So if you haven't heard that awesome made up scenario, you can check out the prior pod. But I think he's here. I think he's going to play. I don't think this is an issue. I don't know what Schefter was talking about, and sometimes I wish these talking heads would just keep their mouth closed. But what else came out of minicamp? Anything worth talking about? Joey Bosa was on the side actually doing some drills. He wasn't just sitting there on an exercise bike. So maybe he is further along, progressing, ready to go. Hopefully he has a good training camp and he can hit the ground running. Keon Coleman. Keon, according to everything I saw, everything I heard, was making a lot of good plays, a lot of splash plays, and everyone's saying he's looking a little stronger, a little quicker. And he had a press conference, and he took full accountability for his drop-off in his rookie year. And basically, it was hilarious. If you ever get a chance to listen to Keon Coleman, I encourage everybody to do it. I think this guy is awesome. He is quickly becoming one of my favorite players. I just love listening to him talk. His Niagara Falls commercials are fantastic. If you haven't seen Keon Coleman in the Made of the Mist commercial, it's great. Pure comedic gold. He does some funny stuff. I just think he's a cool dude. But anyway, he takes accountability, basically says that bleep trash. When he was asked about last year, he said that bleep trash. And he says how he needs to be better in every facet of his game. So I give him credit. It doesn't look like he is passing the buck on to anyone else. He's taking responsibility, and I expect big things from him. I think with another full training camp under his belt, another year connecting with Allen, I think he's going to be great, and I can't wait to see what he does. Reports are also out there that Dalton Kincaid, tight end number 1, put on some bulk this year. Apparently he hit the weight room extremely hard in the offseason, and he's looking great, and he's making great plays in minicamp. He's another one that I have huge expectations for. High draft pick for us, and a lot of people are pissed off because we spent such a high asset on this guy, and he really hasn't proven to be fruitful for us yet. But I just would wish everyone take a deep breath. Sometimes these guys take a year or two to kind of have things in the game calm down, slow down. I think these guys are going to be good. I do this all the time, right? I want these guys to be awesome. I want my team to be awesome. I expect things from these players, but we have to understand that nothing is linear, and sometimes it's going to take them a while to go from A to B to C to D and so on and so forth. Sometimes they're going to bounce all around, and it might not be at the progress that we want to see, at the rate we want to see it. And that's okay. We just got to take a deep breath. I think these guys are going to be good. I have high expectations for both Coleman and Kincaid. They're some of my favorite players. But Bills Mafia, I think we have a problem. And I was looking at this team. I was looking at some of their contracts. I know a lot of Mafia members right when training camp starts to roll around, they start looking in their closets, they start looking at their merch, they start looking at their gear, and they're like, oh, I need a new jersey. I need to order that new jersey. I need to know who I'm rocking for some of the games this year, whether I'm in Highmark or whether I'm, at my friend's house or at the bar, whatever, I'm watching the game. I got to rep my team. So I know a lot of people every year, they try to get a new jersey, but I'm looking at this team, and outside of Josh, right? Because, everyone should have a Josh Allen jersey. Everybody. Don't care what you say. Everybody should have a Josh Allen jersey. I don't care if you love the Seattle Seahawks. You should have a Josh Allen jersey. No, just kidding. But you look at this roster. The question is, and this is the problem I'm having, is who is the next guy on the team that you're running out and buying their jersey for? Because here's the problem. This happens time after time after time. We spend money on jerseys. And have you heard of the jersey curse? Because it's real, folks. It's real. People buy and spend a ton of money on these jerseys, and bad things happen to your suddenly new favorite player. And the guy gets hurt, or the guy gets traded, or the guy is straight trash, and your jersey is essentially worthless. I have a lot of worthless jerseys in my closet from various sports. The one most recently, Stephon Diggs, was super happy to get that jersey, and now I'm like, why the hell did I even get this? And my son has a Stephon Diggs jersey. So there's two in the same household, both with worthless jerseys at this point. So if you're looking to invest, I'm looking at this team, and I'm like, and what sparked this interest for me is Cook shows up to minicamp, and now his jersey reads Cook the Third on the back. So he went from Cook to Cook the Third, and I'm like, dude, you already changed your number. Now you're adding the third to the back of your jersey. No more. We can't keep changing this. I would strongly advise you all not to invest in a James Cook jersey, because maybe this is the last year he's on the team, but we shall see. So who are you investing in a jersey? It's kind of tough. If you look down the list of signed Bills, I'm just going through these names, and I'm like, would I buy a jersey of this guy? Obviously, we're going to take Josh Allen off the table. Then you get to Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau's got like 4 years left on his deal. We buying a Greg Rousseau jersey? Maybe. He's all right. Spencer Brown? Anyone? I don't know. Christian Benford? I know he just signed an extension. Maybe. Okay. Ed Oliver? I know he signed a massive deal. Ed Oliver's deal is expired at the end of 2027. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Deion Dawkins. Now, when I'm considering whose jersey am I going to get, a couple things. Significance on the team. How long have they been with the team? How long do I expect them to continue to be with the team? And where do they rank in the history of the Bills as far as their value to the franchise? Deion Dawkins, as far as I'm concerned, he's a future guy that's going up on the wall. So this might be the first one I'm looking at. I know a lot of you are like, well, he's a left tackle. Why would I want a jersey of a left tackle? Well, Deion Dawkins is awesome. He's one of the best left tackles in the game. He's been great, and I would love to see Deion retire a Bill. So this is the first one I'm looking at. Now, next, Shakir. Shakir just signed a massive extension. He's on the team for at least 4 more years. Until 2029. Not a bad choice. Let's keep going. Terrell Bernard, anyone? He's also on the team for the next 4 years until 29. Not a bad choice. Dawson Knox, no thank you. And then we get into some of the new free agents. Josh Palmer, Joey Bosa. Anyone going out and buying a Joey Bosa jersey? Anyone? Elijah Moore? Anyone buying a Elijah Moore jersey? I really hope not. So yeah, we're in a tough spot, Bills Mafia. I don't know what jersey to get. I'm kind of leaning towards Deion, but I'm torn. I'm in this weird position. It's either Deion, Keon Coleman, or Kincaid. But this is a make or break year for Kincaid as far as I think getting his jersey. I was really leaning towards getting it last year, and then he kind of had a crap season. And now this is like the make or break year. If he does great, I could see them giving him an extension. If he does poorly, then who knows what's going to happen, but he's signed through 2027. So the way I look at it, if you're on the fence about getting these guys jerseys and they have 2 years or less of time left on their deal, I would say, hey, this is a red flag. Unless they're, like I said, an all-timer and they're getting towards the end of their career and they're about to retire and you know they're going to retire a Bill, I would avoid like the plague. If you know they're going to be on the team for 2 years or less, I would say that's a hard pass. So I'm going to put Kincaid in the hold pile, which brings me back to Dion, and it brings me back to Keon Coleman. But the problem with Coleman, again, his deal is up in 2027. So we're in this weird window where I don't really have an issue with it, but actually now that I'm looking at it, Kincaid is signed through the 2027 season. So we still have a few years left on his deal and a few years left on Keon Coleman's deal. So that would be the three that I'd be looking at: Keon, Kincaid. But ultimately, if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Dion because you can't lose. I don't think you can lose with Dion. Or I do have a Thurman jersey, obviously, and a Jim Kelly jersey. Maybe you go back to the 90s teams and you pick like a Bruce Smith or somebody like that you really can't go wrong with. But I always like to see when we show up for that opener, I love to see the jerseys people are rocking. It's a ton of fun. It's awesome. But I think there's a way to avoid this whole mess. I think what we should do, and I think what these jersey companies, whether they're Reebok or whoever the companies are now, Nike, I don't know, Fanatics, wherever the hell you buy your jerseys, it's crazy. They should offer jersey insurance. You know, it's like you buy concert tickets or you buy plane tickets or whatever the case may be, trip insurance or concert insurance if something happens and you can't make it. I think they should offer jersey insurance. And then if you're in this crazy window where you're spending $150, $200 on a jersey, and they say, hey, would you like to buy jersey insurance for the low price of, I don't know, $24.99? Yeah, slap that thing on there. So that way, if my guy's traded, if he sucks, if he's a Kyer Elam situation all over again, and I've already invested all this time and money into paying for this stuff, yeah, I would like to buy jersey insurance. That way I can trade this piece of trash in and get me something else, or we can send it back and they can swap the name or the number or whatever the case may be. I think that'd be a great idea. So Goodell, I'm back in your office and I am pitching jersey insurance for all the NFL fans. I know you will never do this because you love your money too much, but shame on you that you never came up with this. It's a great idea. I think every team should do it in every sport. It would be huge business. There it is, jersey insurance. So make it happen. Cardboard enthusiast, how are we feeling? Fanatics Fest is kicking off as we speak. I'm seeing videos from the floor. The place looks massive. It looks intense. There's people everywhere. It looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I'm super jealous. I wish I could be there. We talked about it last week, how expensive things are, but it still looks like a ton of fun. And I did get to see a video of my boy getting escorted with all his security cronies, good old Tom Brady, walking through Fanatics Fest and the crowd going somewhat mild for him. But I'm like, this guy, he just can't stay out of the spotlight. Good old Tom Brady at Fanatics Fest. But of course, as we talked about last week, he doesn't want to sign, so I can't spend all my money and get him to inscribe a nice photo saying that I'm the real TB. But I digress. A couple things in the card market I want to hit on. If you follow the Topps Now stuff, there was a card in 2024. It was a Steph Curry 1/1 gold auto from the gold medal Olympic game. It was sent to PSA. It was given a 10 out of 10 grade. And this card sold at auction. Guess how much? $518,000. $518,500 is what this card sold for. One card. It's crazy. A Topps Now auto gold medal Olympic game, 1/1 Steph Curry. How we feel about that? 518, over half a mil. That's crazy. And they still haven't uncovered the triple auto of James, Durant, I believe, and Curry card. No one's come forward with that. That card, if this card went for 518, how much is that craziness going for? 750? $1 million? I can't wait to see the chaos of what that card fetches. But what I want to end the show with talking about is the release of Topps Marvel Chrome. We talked about it last week. Super excited that this product came out. I got to be honest with you guys. This product hit the shelves. I'm watching breaks. I'm looking at these cards. These cards are fire. We have this FOMO thing going on, this fear of missing out. Well, I missed out on this because I am very disappointed after seeing these cards. And I'm not a huge comic book guy, but these cards look great. They look great. Even the base cards, the base chromes, they are nice. I saw one of the Silver Samurai. The colors look great. The inserts look ridiculous. They have these anniversary cards. They look absolutely fantastic. I love the icons inserts that they have. I saw a couple of Thor and different characters, but I need to talk about this one crazy insert that is going for obscene amounts of money. Have you all seen these die-cut Wolverine cards? So what they do is they take a regular Marvel character, let's say it's, who knows, it's Thanos, right? And it's the Wolverine die-cut. So it looks like Wolverine's claws have completely gone through the card. You hold this card up, you can see through it, and the claw marks are etched into the card. It looks fan-freaking-tastic. This is one of the coolest inserts, coolest designs I've ever seen, and these cards are going for crazy, crazy amounts of money already on the secondary market. They look sick. Marvel and Topps, hats off to you all. But you can't get this product now. A blaster box is going for $70, $60, $70, and you're only getting 28 cards. 28 cards in a blaster box for $60 to $70. Are we crazy? Are we crazy? Like, we got to chill with this stuff. And then hobby boxes. Hobby boxes are reselling on secondary markets in upwards of $500, as high as $599 for a hobby box. Guys, a hobby box. I love these cards, but there ain't no way in hell that I'm paying $500-$600 for a hobby box of these cards. As cool as I think they are, which they are fire. This is insane. I don't know how we ended up here. Obviously, supply and demand, yada, yada. But what are we doing that these prices are so drastically high? Hopefully they come down and people can actually, not take out a second mortgage to get their hands on some of these, because I love them. I would love to get a couple. I have ordered a few singles on eBay. I think I've spent $4 to get 2 cards, which is a much better rate than going the blaster or hobby box route. I would love to open some packs of these. These look great, but the prices are not justified. We shall see. Hopefully things kind of settle down a little, but Topps Inception already came out this week. It came out on Wednesday. Some of the cards are fire, but again, 7 cards in a hobby box, and you're spending a couple $100 on these. And again, the secondary markets have these through the roof, but they look great. So some really big releases over the last week. Things are obviously going really, really well. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Can't thank you all enough for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode or any episode of the 3Ts podcast up to this point, please, please, please help a brother out. Do me a favor. Share this podcast with someone someone that loves wrestling or card collecting or, of course, the Bills, my favorite team, greatest team on the planet. Thank you so much. It doesn't matter who you share it with. Just help me to grow this podcast one episode at a time. And please hit that follow button. Leave a quick review anywhere you podcast. Let's build this thing together. I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.